Welcome. Tonight, we'll explore the detailed history of Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic, a game that began as a festival tie-in and became the unique and beloved Super Mario Bros. 2 in the West. This story takes us to the world of design decisions, technical limitations, and forgotten details of a transformative time in gaming history. Relax, and let's begin. After the global success of Super Mario Bros. In 1985, Nintendo created a sequel for the Famicom Disk System. The disk system used floppy disks, holding more data than cartridges, and offering save functionality. Super Mario Bros. 2, 1986, in Japan, was designed for experts. It reused the original game's graphics and physics, but increased difficulty drastically. Poison mushrooms harmed players. Wind gusts disrupted jumps. Precision was essential. Nintendo of America reviewed this sequel. They worried it would frustrate Western players. The company sought an alternative, something familiar, yet fresh. Meanwhile, Fuji Television was planning Yume Kojo, a media festival. They asked Nintendo for a game to promote it. Led by Shigeru Miyamoto, the team adapted a prototype involving vertical scrolling, an innovation beyond side-scrolling Mario. The project became Doki Doki Panic, named for the sound of a racing heartbeat. The heroes were mascots of the festival. Each character was carefully designed to represent themes and ideas tied to the event's imagery and the culture of the time. Imagine, a turbaned boy representing adventure and youthful courage. His name was derived from the word imagine, encouraging players to dream and explore. Mama, a strong mother figure dressed in traditional robes. Mama embodied wisdom, nurturing, and inner strength. In concept art, her design was inspired by folk tales of heroic mothers who protected their families. Papa, larger and imposing, symbolizing protection and stability. His wide frame and kind expression were meant to evoke both strength and warmth. Lena, the agile sister. Lena was designed to represent grace, agility, and resilience. Her ability to float came from the idea of lightness and the dreamlike quality of the festival. Their designs were not random. Each character connected to the themes of dreams, family, and harmony, the pillars of the Dream Factor event. The characters appeared not only in the game, but in promotional posters, merchandise, and stage shows at the festival itself. Each character had unique abilities. Levels were cleared with each character to finish the game. This design choice encouraged replaying levels, highlighting the different play styles and strengths of each hero. The development of Doki Doki Panic was shaped not only by the festival's needs, but also by Nintendo's desire to experiment with new gameplay concepts and visual motifs. The collaboration between Fuji Television and Nintendo created a unique synergy. Nintendo designers visited Fuji's offices to study the festival mascots, stage decorations, and overall aesthetic of Yume Kojo. They incorporated these inspirations into level designs, color palettes, and character animations. For example, the bright and cheerful color scheme of the game mirrored the banners and signage of the festival grounds. Music composers drew from traditional Japanese festival tunes, adapting them to the limited sound channels of the Famicom Disk System. One of the notable influences was the desire to reflect themes of cooperation and family unity. The characters' roles reinforced this. Papa's strength symbolized protection. Mama's resilience represented nurturing care. Lena's agility highlighted youthful spirit, and Imagine's balance reflected harmony. These choices were intentional, aiming to create a game that parents could enjoy with children or that friends could discuss as they played through with each character. Additionally, the choice to use vertical and multi-directional scrolling allowed the game to stand apart from Mario. This directional freedom encouraged exploration and gave a sense of scale that felt appropriate for a game tied to a major media event. Early concept sketches of the levels featured notes from the designers about how areas should feel like dreamscapes, with floating platforms and hidden doors that rewarded curiosity. The verticality also provided a natural canvas for hidden areas, encouraging players to look beyond the obvious path. Internally, the team viewed Doki Doki Panic as a chance to experiment with mechanics that had been considered for earlier Mario titles but not implemented. Ideas like carrying objects, digging through soft terrain, and interacting with layered backgrounds were tested here. The festival tie-in gave Nintendo freedom to break from the conventions of the Super Mario Bros. Brand without the risk of confusing core fans at the time. The game's development also reflected a rare intersection of commercial promotion and artistic ambition. While its purpose was to support Fuji Television Festival, it became a creative outlet for Nintendo's designers, showcasing ideas and techniques that would influence future platformers. Doki Doki Panic introduced picking up vegetables, enemies, and objects to throw. The vertical scrolling let players climb vines or descend through doors. Stages ended with a slot machine for extra lives. The disk system's disks stored about 112 kilobytes per side, compared to about 40 kilobytes of Super Mario Bros. This allowed larger sprites and music, but also caused slow loading and fragile media. The game also featured subspace doors, hidden areas that flipped the colors of the level and allowed players to find secret items. Each character's different abilities added variety. For example, Lena's floating helped navigate tricky platforming sections, while Papa's strength made him ideal for lifting large enemies. Boss battles were distinct too, including Birdo, who shot eggs that could be caught and thrown back, and Mouser, who attacked with bombs that had to be grabbed and used against him. The inclusion of environmental puzzles, such as digging through sand to find keys or reach deeper layers of a level, encouraged slower, thoughtful play. This contrasted with the fast-paced running and jumping of traditional Mario titles. The gameplay also introduced several subtle mechanics that contributed to its unique feel. For example, each character's physics were carefully tuned. Imogene had balanced jump height and lifting speed. Mama and Papa had slower foot speed but could lift large objects with ease. Lena's floating was achieved by holding the jump button, allowing players to gently glide downward, adjusting her horizontal position in midair. This offered a sense of precision not seen in earlier Mario titles. Hidden mechanics like enemy stacking allowed players to pick up and carry multiple foes at once, creating opportunities to clear areas creatively. The game featured keys that, when picked up, triggered relentless pursuit by Phanto, a mask-shaped enemy that floated menacingly toward the player until the key was dropped or the door was unlocked. This mechanic added tension to otherwise calm stages. The slot machine bonus game at the end of each level was not just a chance for extra lives, but a way to break the tension of a difficult stage, providing a brief, lighthearted interlude. Collecting coins in subspace made this bonus game more rewarding, subtly encouraging exploration. Digging sections where players carved tunnels through sand required careful planning, as enemies often lurked above or below. Some stages featured whale spouts that launched the player upward, another element that blended platforming with light puzzle solving. The balance of action, exploration, and puzzle solving set Doki Doki Panic apart and laid the foundation for Super Mario Bros. 2's enduring charm. Each of these gameplay elements contributed to a dreamlike atmosphere. The slow pace of digging, the soft arcs of thrown vegetables, and the gentle float of characters like Lena all combined to give the game a rhythm distinct from other platformers of its era. Needing a sequel for the West, Nintendo chose Doki Doki Panic. It was easier, unique, and adaptable. Imagine became Mario. Lena became Princess Peach. Mama became Luigi, reimagined taller and with higher jumps. Papa became Toad, who pulled vegetables fastest. Power-ups like mushrooms were added, along with coins and stars. Enemies like Shy Guys, Sniffets, and Birdo entered Mario lore. The adaptation process involved much more than character swaps. Nintendo's developers reworked animation so that Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad fit the original movements of Imagine, Mama, Lena, and Papa without appearing awkward. For instance, Luigi's taller frame required adjustments to the sprite proportions so his legs would not clip through the platforms during high jumps. The designers carefully turned jump physics to match player expectations from earlier Mario games, adding subtle differences like Luigi's slippery landing and Peach's slightly slower float descent. Changes extended to level graphics. Many background tiles were recolored or modified to evoke the Mushroom Kingdom, though remnants of the Dream Factory setting remained. The desert levels and the mechanical structures stayed largely intact, giving the game its surreal and dreamlike tone. Even sound effects were altered. Jump sounds and coin chimes were replaced with ones familiar to Mario fans. These changes helped reinforce the illusion that this was always intended as a Mario adventure. Nintendo of America's localization team also modified text and manuals to remove references to the festival. The story was recast as a dream sequence, cleverly explaining why the game felt so different from the first Mario and integrating the dreamy, otherworldly elements of the original design. This process required collaboration between designers, translators, and marketing staff to ensure a seamless experience for Western audiences. Ultimately, the transformation of Doki Doki Panic into Super Mario Bros. 2 was a masterclass in repurposing content while respecting the source material's charm and creativity. The game used clever sprite design, 3 color limits per sprite to save memory. Backgrounds reused tiles and patterns to minimize data use. Sound used the Famicom's 5 audio channels, 2 pulse waves, 1 triangle wave, 1 noise generator, and 1 sample channel. Loading screens, absent in Mario 1, came from converting disk system code to cartridge. The US release used a 256 kilobyte ROM, large for the time. To understand the graphics design choices, it helps to know that each sprite, the small images used for characters and objects, could only use 3 colors plus transparency at once. This was because of the way the Nintendo hardware combined limited palette entries to save memory and processing power. The backgrounds were built using small 8x8 pixel tiles repeated in patterns. This saved space on the ROM and allowed for larger, more complex levels without using more memory. The designers had to think carefully about which colors to assign to characters, enemies, and scenery to avoid flickering or visual clutter when multiple objects appeared on screen. Flickering happened when too many sprites appeared in one horizontal line, and the hardware could not display them all at once, causing them to rapidly alternate between visible and invisible frames. The sound design also reflected technical limitations. The 2 pulse channels were used for melodies, the triangle channel for bass lines, the noise channel for percussion effects like drum beats, and the sample channel occasionally for voice or special sounds. The Famicom Disk System's ability to save data let players pause and resume, but the move to cartridge in the US meant this function was removed. The shift also required changes in how data was loaded into memory, since cartridges had different access speeds compared to the floppy disks of the disk system. Additionally, vertical scrolling presented technical challenges. The console had to redraw portions of the screen as the player moved up or down. This could sometimes cause ghosting or slight delays as new tiles loaded into memory. The game's engine was carefully optimized to handle these tasks smoothly, but observant players might still notice brief moments where the screen hesitated when transitioning between areas. Super Mario Bros. 2 released in North America in 1988, selling over 10 million copies. Its dreamlike visuals and different playstyle left a lasting impression. The Japanese Doki Doki Panic remained exclusive, but the rebranded Mario 2 returned to Japan as Super Mario USA in Super Mario All-Stars. Wart, originally Mamu, never appeared in major Mario games again. Shy Guys, however, became staples. The game's vegetable pulling mechanic reappeared in titles like Super Smash Bros. The US box art showed Mario holding a vegetable with a blue background. This contrasted with Doki Doki Panic's festival-themed cover art. Manuals explained the new mechanics in detail, describing how to pull vegetables or throw enemies. Promotional materials focused on the new adventure angle, downplaying its origins. Ads highlighted its 4 playable characters and unique style. Tonight, we've explored how a festival tie-in became a beloved sequel. From technical challenges to artistic choices, Doki Doki Panic and Super Mario Bros. 2 tell a quiet story of creativity and adaptation. Thank you for listening.